was me, Rayo. I was the one behind everything. From the Kryptonian invasion on the Saiyan world in that alternate timeline, to enlisting Rao, to manipulating the Hakaishin of time. It was all me. And now, the things that have happened, I have to fix them. I have to change them before others like myself find out. Times have changed, and I need you, Rhea. I will not lose you again. But I can't have people like your father and your sister and your mother away. So I'm going to wipe out all of this. All of Conton City. All of the Time Nest. All of this comes to an end. Now. By my power. At my hand.
Then decides that it's time to leave and grabs Rayo and teleports away as Kronika is left with Conton City and the Time Nest exploding. Kronika used all of her remaining power and teleports the entirety of the Time Patrol and all of its citizens to another universe, which happens to be facing an overpopulation issue. And wouldn't you know it, guess what it is? The what if Goku was trapped in the time chamber for 1,000,000 years and became OP strong. They're going to that universe, and now Kronika is drained of energy, and now it's just Gohana, Kara, and Goku all stuck in that dimension, along with an army of time patrollers and the other residents there. Meanwhile, we look over at Alien X, who is talking to Rayo, who he's keeping powerless. Basically, he's at the normal human stage, and Alien X tells him that he is sorry for lying to him, and Rayo says that did he really experience a catastrophic event on his world, or did he destroy it himself? Alien X tells him of his past. Alien X tells him that on his world, things just kept getting worse. He kept fighting and going up against more and more threatening beings, and he felt he needed to stop it. He needed to wipe it all clean and restart over. So instead of accepting Asmus Omnitrix, he kept the Ultimatrix and used Alien X. And then, when the threat came that was just too powerful for him to handle, he had to use Ultimate Alien X, and he was connected to a much bigger grid. He became a race known as the Omni Kings, which Alien X is now permanently stuck in that form, which he can use to alter back to human form, but it isn't the same. He's always going to be that. So if his human form or his other alien forms were killed, or quotation marks killed, he would just end up reverting back to Alien X and be ultimate. There'd be nothing anyone could do to stop him. But after his world was destroyed, he sat there and meditated for years, contacting other beings like him, and he came across them in their larva stages. They weren't exactly at their fullest power. They were childish and ran a small multiverse. It was odd, and this was very reoccurrent in every timeline, and he doesn't understand why. Not really. That's when he contacted Rayo, and he knew that the Hakaishin of Time had betrayed him, so he enlisted Rayo and gave them all their extra super abilities and made sure that they could keep them, and repopulated the universe full of stars and amped them up even more. So basically, all the gifts that Rayo did in his panda form now are even more amped up. And so now we see that the Kryptonians he saw in another world lead his world to glory. They had an army of Kryptonian protectors and Doomsday. Yes, the Kryptonians had taken away all free speech, but everyone was safe and everyone was happy. And even in that world, they had become coexisting allies with the Saiyans until the Saiyans betrayed them. So now, Alien X, just to get back at them on that world, and to get back at all versions of the Saiyans across all of time, because he now sees that they are nothing more than insects. They are betrayers. They are nothing. He must wipe them all out. He must wipe out all 3 sections of the multiverse, all timelines, and start anew. Thankfully, everyone in these dimensions doesn't seem to be on the same level of power as he is. So, that's a plus side. As long as he can keep all of them from realizing that they can turn ultimate themselves, he should be able to kill them no problem. Which is where we cut back to Chronica and all the other time patrollers, with this universe's version of Zeno breaking through and questioning, which leads this version of Zeno-sama to question who Chronica is. Which Chronica explains that she is the Supreme Kai of Time, and they had to crash somewhere, and this was the closest neighboring timeline. And Zeno is like, okay, cool, you're not who I'm after. I'm after a guy named Goku. And which is where we see Xeno Goku look confused, because does he mean him? And Zeno says, no, he don't have the right key signature. And then we also see that the main Goku from this world, which is basically identical to the one in the main timeline, but the only difference being that the universe is now, like, if you don't know, that video, basically, all of the universe's population was moved to Universe 7 and highly expanded upon, and now it's basically a utopia. Well, basically, Goku's friends had all died of old age and whatnot, and then future Goku brought them back and put them in this new world, basically making them identical to the main. Which Zeno-sama says that he wants to incarcerate him, but main Goku has to go on this big tangent and basically explain that he is the past version of the future Goku. Zeno is looking for future Goku. The past Goku, the main one, is just the main Goku. He didn't have anything to do with it. He had all the power of his future self, but then he gave it up to his future self, and now he's gone. Nothing he could do about it. He don't know where or how, or where he's at, or how he is, or anything like that. Zeno says that was a stupid idea. Do you know how much power that is? And they're just running around the multiverse willy-nilly wherever they want to go. Goku says that it was his only way to get his friends back, which Zeno is rubbing his eyes, just questioning why he even let this happen. And now that these things are happening, he needs to sort it out with the Supreme Kai of Time. So he rejuvenates her, and she explains her situation with the Alien X. And so her and Zeno are going to try to come up with a plan along with the other time patrollers. Meanwhile, everyone else needs to get situated. Which is where we go back to Gohanna L and her holding on to the blue collar that Rao had given Rayo, and questioning why Rao would do this. And Kara says that she is completely imbalanced, and she tells Xenogoku, her father, Gohanna's father, hey, we're gonna go train. Like, no, we're not having this. And Xenogoku's just like, oh, do you want me to join? And she's like, no, you're gonna figure out a plan. Me and her are gonna get stronger. Me and my daughter need to have a discussion. Which is where Kara takes her to this universe's version of the time chamber. And they discuss that she's relying too much on her Saiyan side. That was their biggest issue. Gohanna's relying too much on the Saiyan side and not embracing Kryptonian enough, and vice versa for Rayo. They're too imbalanced. They're two opposite sides of the spectrum. To truly find balance, they need to do what she and Xenogoku did. They need to find a balance and come together and create something beautiful. Look what they made. They made Gohanna and Rayo, and their power is amazing, and they're beautiful creatures. They're just misguided right now. And this is what they need to do. she puts on the blue collar, the blue sun collar on Gohana and tells her that she cannot use any of her Saiyan abilities, only Kryptonian, and she begins telling her stories and training her and teaching her the ways of the Kryptonian. Meanwhile, we cut back to Alien X and Rayo as Alien X looks at him and tells him again that he.
Sorry, I didn't want to have to strip you of all your Kryptonian abilities. However, I couldn't risk the chance of you escaping. I will not lose you again. No. What are you doing? That is unstable. I haven't restored your full capabilities yet.
Has grabbed a time scroll that Alien X had, and Alien X tells him that he shouldn't do that. He hasn't restored his Kryptonian abilities. Basically, he sealed them off, and now the time scroll is completely unstable, and they're keys to dead timelines, either timelines he's destroyed or forgotten timelines of the multiverse. Either way, Rayo uses it and fires a energy blast at Alien X, even in his Super Saiyan form, embracing his Saiyan side to possibly survive. And the time scroll takes him to a destroyed Tournament of Power. Basically, this is a timeline where Alien X showed up. He wiped out the entire Tournament of Power and killed Zeno, and then just destroyed that dimension's multiverse. And then he left. So, yeah. This timeline is basically an empty world of void, and no one / nothing can get there without the time scroll, except maybe Alien X, but the time scroll can also keep people out, so Rayo keeps it close on him, and he decides, since his Kryptonian abilities are still sealed off from him, he can just train, and he comes to terms with what he's done. He feels bad for what he did to Gohana and his father and his mother. He feels bad for what he's done to the Saiyan and the Kryptonian race. All of this is his fault. If he had just took the time to realize that not every person, just because, like, say they're a Namekian, like Lord Slug, doesn't mean they're going to be a Namekian. All the Namekians are all Lord Slugs. There is Namekians like Piccolo, and a lot more good Namekians than others, and that does apply to every race. So Rayo wants to train. He's going to work out his frustrations, which through this time jump, we see him unlock the various Super Saiyan transformations, and his power grows wildly with him activating Super Saiyan already. But he also trains and unlocks Super Saiyan 2, and then he trains and goes even further and unlocks Super Saiyan 3. And by harnessing his inner Saiyan nature and the Kryptonian's regeneration ability, he regenerates his tail since he's cut it off beforehand, and he finally unlocks Super Saiyan 4, putting him on a whole nother level of power. Meanwhile, back with Kara and Gohana, they are easily trading blows, and Kara even dons her Supergirl outfit from time to time. However, the two are now becoming more and more equal in power, and this is just from Gohana using her Kryptonian side. This isn't even counting for the Saiyan side, which by the time they leave the time chamber, they have both evolved their powers far beyond what they once were, and they could easily keep up with Goku now, even though Kara and Gohana could normally. Now they're on the level of a Super Saiyan 5. Which even Gohana has accessed a red-haired form, which allows her to supercharge with her Saiyan cells all the red solar radiation natural Kryptonians have, making this an entirely new form. You see Gohana and Kara showing off their new powers as they are immensely stronger. Basically, this is like Gohan and Goku coming out of the time chamber against Cell. However, this is on a much, much grander scale. And Goku is even impressed by it and says that even in the Super Saiyan 5 form, he's not even sure he could be able to defeat them. And Kara says that they can go a few rounds later. Right now, she wants to know if Goku has been training the other time patrollers, and Goku says he has been. He's been training with a couple in particular, such as Keltapet and Mutaro and a couple others. However, they haven't heard anything from the Supreme Kai of Time and this world's version of Zeno. which causes Kara to become worried until a bright beam of light shows up, and we see the Supreme Kai of Time and this world's version of Zeno show up and announce that they do have a discovery to be made. However, they do need to discuss it with Goku, Kara, and Gohana. The Supreme Kai of Time and Zeno revealed that since Zeno has been amplifying her powers, the Supreme Kai has been able to look further and further into the multiverse and see some of the bigger pictures and things, which she has made some frightening discoveries, to say the least. When Goku and Kara question it, the Supreme Kai tells them that there are 2 to 3 big news pieces. She has found 2 bad news pieces and 1 good news piece. The bad news is that Rayo is still alive, and instead of just being a universal constant like how he is in the beginning of the story, he is now got a much bigger army and has took over the universe that they had saved the Saiyans from, and now he has a whole universal army, and Alien X is amplifying their powers by turning that universe into it's like a universe-sized blue sun. They will all, they can leave that universe through the power of Alien X and attack other universes, and they will have a blue sun outside of other universes that will be constantly feeding them blue sun energy. This is a massive threat, because even a blue-powered, normal, weakest Kryptonian is Super Saiyan Blue level Goku. Now just imagine what an army invading the multiverse will do. And Zeno suffices that it's not too long before they begin to find them, which also leads them to reveal the other bit of bad news. The Hakai Shin of Time is real, but the thing is, he's missing. And the same goes with their angel. They're both missing. And Zeno says that he may be the king of a certain dimension's multiverse, but he did not create the greater, quote-unquote, what they've been calling a multiverse is actually the quote-unquote omniverse, which we see that Zeno having no idea who these beings are, he can't find them, but he does come to find out that he was also created by a higher power, and so were these other people. However, this also means that there is some good news. There is a race to Zeno. How do you think all these other Zenos can exist if he's supposed to be the Omni King of a certain dimension's multiverse? So he realizes that most of the Zenos are in their baby stages, which is why they are destructive, but they can become very creative and very powerful, which is why they come to the conclusion that Alien X is a Omni King, but at its fullest potential due to that Ultimatrix, which makes Zeno think that it's time that he begins to train. And Goku questions how in the world, who is he going to train with? And Zeno says that he will train with Goku and learn the ways of his fighting techniques and whatnot and become a better fighter. And then they'll try to take on Alien X. And with the army of time patrols they have built up, they could be able to stop Alien X and his Kryptonian army. However, Zeno and him need to get to training, because even though how powerful the Omni King is, and this Zeno is more mature than the main Omni King, he's still not as powerful as Alien X, which they have figured out his plan is to find the other beings across the Omniverse, the Hakai Shin Time, the Angel, and then Supreme Kai, drain them of their energy and pour it into him, elevating him to a true god, and then wipe out the multiverse, and God only knows what he'd do next. So, yeah, this is very high stakes. He senses a evil presence behind him, which just turns out to be some random beast he's killing, and he accesses his Super Saiyan 4 transformation and uses it to easily crush them and overtake them. However, something surprising does happen. A purple portal opens from behind him, revealing the main Goku, or the one that can access Blue and master Ultra Instinct. Remember when I said that when Xeno Goku met this version's Goku, it was identical to main Goku? Well, this one is from the What If I Trained for a Billion Years timeline. The one that the whole, everyone that escaped from the Time Patroller incident is held up at. They are all now there in this quote unquote main Goku or alternate Goku, whatever you want to call him. I'm going to call him main Goku from this point on because he's identical. The main Goku is here. He was sent on a mission, hopping and skipping from timelines trying to find Rayo, and now that he has found him, he wants to take him back to the Supreme Kai of Time. However, Rayo doesn't believe this because his father doesn't have a blue transformation, and Rayo and Goku tells him that he's not his father, or at least not his version of his father. He is Goku though, and he is sent here by the Supreme Kai of Time. And Rayo says that he can't come back. He betrayed his people once, and he is so ashamed of it. He deserves to be left here on this rotten world for forever. Goku says that he doesn't blame him. He understands. He has a friend named Vegeta who was just like this when they first met. Ready to destroy everything and didn't know how to continue on a Saiyan's path. However, he learned to evolve, not through power, but through his heart. He made a family here. He made hybrids like Trunks and Bra. He became one of the most powerful beings in the universe because his heart changed. Goku can sense that Rayo's heart has changed, and he does truly feel bad for what he's done to the people, to the Saiyans, to the Kryptonians, to his friends and family. He is sorry and wants to make things right. Goku holds out his hand and tells him that he needs to come with him. Rayo says that he won't do it. He hasn't even proved that he's Goku yet. And Goku smirks, saying, "Oh, an old Saiyan tradition." Goku ignites Super Saiyan Blue, and Rayo activates Super Saiyan 4 and powers it up. And they duel for a little while, destroying much of the planet and landscape, until they finally end the match, as Goku has finally landed as the victor in his new Mastered Ultra Instinct form, and transformed back to base form, telling him that it's time to come home. And Rayo holds out his hand happily and takes it as they both walk through the purple portal. So if you made it this far into the video, thank you so much. I just want to dedicate this whole episode to you all for helping me reach 320-ish subscribers. I believe that's the last time I looked. But either way, thank you so much for all the support. And hopefully I can make this, like my main job one day. And thank you for all the criticism not criticism, feedback and whatnot. Just thank you very much. You are very appreciated. You have no idea how much this means to me. Thank you very much. I hope y'all have a great day and enjoyed my video. Alrighty, see you in the next time.